And welcome to another Tom and Shane podcast. Happy to be here with you this morning. And well, Shane, we've got a interesting topic today. We're going to talk about. Um, we've talked a lot about wants and needs of customers, how to tell what your customers want or need, and that's our topic today. And boy, if we just had a crystal ball. We could sit down and say, "Hey, this is what I want." Business would be a lot easier.
Yeah, if you had a crystal ball, it'd be hard to decide where to use it
I
too.
know. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, maybe it'd be better to use it in the stock market.
Well, we could do that. Yeah.
Well, look, the bottom line is, as you pointed out, you don't know what someone's thinking, and clearly, if someone in a brick and mortar store, like we're talking about, walks into your store, they have interest, and
Yeah.
so there's something that they've seen, or someone's told them something, or they've heard, or maybe an advertisement flyer, whatever you've done, you've caused them to react and come into your store. So it's only appropriate to approach them, and even in that regard, ask them, is there something you specific you're looking for, and so forth, which we've talked about. So yeah, it's a follow through at the beginning to the end.
Yeah. Yeah. The one of the questions we wanted to talk about today is who influences the customer. And back in the day when video stores were on every corner, I was in LA selling movies to video stores. And in many cases, video stores would be right across the street from each other. And one place would only buy comedies, the other would only buy action and adventure. And I determined it was more what the owner liked and would recommend to his customers than what the public wanted. So, in many cases, the owner has a great influence on who walks through the door in their advertising message, what they put across to the customer. Obviously, a hardware store is a hardware store, but some hardware stores may be better at selling lawnmowers than another one, or snowmobiles, or snow blowers, or whatever.
The bottom line is it's product. What's the product in your store? What's the premise for your store? I mean, you have different stores. You have food stores, retail stores, dollar stores, as you point out, hardware stores. So they all have a basis of product for people to come in. That's why the chain stores, from Home Depot to Walmart and so on, did so well because they had a specific product line that they offered people. And they realized from the success of fast food that if you create the same environment, for people to go to with the same name, it creates a brand, and that brand draws people to the store. So, and then over time, they're advertising that they've generated through mail outs, or, like you don't see Walmart advertise on TV, but boy, every village, town, and city, they send flyers out, right?
Well,
historical for that.
Yeah.
And do a lot of other local food stores.
Yeah, they're on TV here. They've got an interesting ad going on right now. They talk about a specific product, and they talk about, it's told from the product point of view that thanks to Walmart buying this particular brand of tea, all these people have jobs and whatever. So when you pick up that product off Walmart shelf, you're helping all these people here. So we were talking about what's your opinion worth. We were talking about in some of our past things that just because you're not the target market doesn't mean a market doesn't exist. And I see this in radio a lot, that people think they want to advertise on a particular station because that's the one they listen to, and their target market may be listening to an entirely different station. So
absolutely, it's likes and dislikes, which of course we have covered in other shows. But again, as the analogies you're using, like music and radio, or videos, in the video store business, or video was business rather. It's similar to what you may or may not sell on your website or in your store. You candles, clothing, uh,
Sure.
artwork. It's but the bottom line is that you want to track it, and the purpose of today's conversation is being able to come up with some creative ideas to help track your customers' interests and as well as needs.
Sure.
Because they are either coming in because they want something or need it, and so you want to track that. So you learn from that, you adapt to it, and you make sure your product list or product where that you have in your store or online is something that people will search. Another specific example is specific holidays or days that people enjoy. Valentine's Day isn't a particular significant holiday, but it's a great holiday in recognition of relationships. And you see all the different types of advertising for it, from flowers to clothing, from candy to to hardware. I mean, so the opportunity to advertise product is boundless. The reason you're advertising it is to get that customer in the door.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's exactly the what we want to do. The other thing that we learn from the mistakes of others. Look at what your competition is doing. Look at what other people are doing. We one of the things we talked about was Apple. Steve Jobs started Apple, and eventually the board of directors kicked him out. They brought in Scully from Pepsi, and he drove it into the ground. And then they brought Steve Jobs back, and of course, Apple became, if it isn't now, it was the most valuable company in the world. So, leadership and is the key.
And being able to adapt. And the big success with Apple was Steve Jobs' imagination,
right?
His innovation and his invention. It's rather remarkable in that case to look at this product and realize that the iPhone's 11 years old, and cell phones have been around since 85.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's an amazing accomplishment that all these other phone companies couldn't establish the success that Apple did. I mean, we talk about BlackBerry. I mean, BlackBerry was huge because of their
it was, yeah.
And that everybody believed them when they said that it was unbreakable. The code was unbreakable. and all of a sudden, 5 years ago or whatever it was, when we announced it in May of I can't remember now, but the RCMP got, because it was a Canadian company, the RCMP in Canada, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, got their code for the backdoor, to the emails. And 5 years later, company's gone. Basically, it is because everyone dropped it. No reason to use this thinking I'm protecting my emails, because they've got the backdoor code. So
protection's gone. So
again, these are the things that you have to be aware, as Tom is saying, especially with competition. And the variables too are the price. One of the things that was particularly fascinating about the Apple example and Steve Jobs was the pricing. And even though they went to China 35 years ago to, manufacture their phones, which was a big move and smart, the cost to price ratio, it was huge. Like they were making 70 to 80% profit.
Oh yeah,
at least on
pretty good.
They sold, and even till today.
Yeah.
So it's again one of those issues. And the other thing is that one of the things that everyone picked up on from Microsoft was how you basically get a customer, in his case, force them to continue using his operating system. But again, back to using the Apple example, how Steve Jobs convinced people every year they needed a new phone.
Yeah.
The last time that happened was back in the 40s and 50s in the car industry. Every 3 years you need a new car.
Yeah, got to get a new car. Yeah. Absolutely right. Well, in the case of both Microsoft and as long as we're going back to video, Microsoft, of course, they release their operating system to everybody. So your chances of buying an IBM type machine rather than an Apple was greatly enhanced. And the same thing happened with Steve Jobs. He didn't want to, or Scully didn't want to release the Apple operating system to people. Otherwise, probably if he had done that, more people would use Apple because it's easier to use by a long ways. If you've used both, you know that the Mac is 10 times easier to use than the IBM will ever be. Mm-hmm. And all the newspapers use it, all the magazines use it, all the designers use it, all websites, most all websites are done with Macs. So, it's just, it's a great machine. And the same thing happened with video. The VHS system, they licensed it to everybody, but the beta, they kept theirs in-house. And, your chances of stumbling over and buying a VHS over a beta was about 10-1. So, but yet beta was used because of its quality by all TV stations, by all broadcast media and all of that. So, it depends on which one you're doing. So
that's right. And then they digitized it, and the digital age came in, and everything got changed again. So again, we've seen this roll out from records to cassettes to discs and laser discs. But the field of product is endless, as I said. But the key is getting someone to your locale store, site, homepage to make the purchase. That's the bottom line. So if your product's unique, then you've got a bit of a head start on everyone. And if it's similar, you may have a leg up on everyone.
Yeah.
If it's the same, then the only real thing that's going to create that benefit for you of a customer is in a brick and mortar store being more personable and having good staff that's well trained, or taking an interest in your customer. And as you say, getting customers to express what they liked about your place or didn't is a good marker and a good way to track again the customer's needs and wants.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to our next point, because learn about customer needs from the inside out. And who knows better what your customers are thinking, saying, or feeding back than the employees. And many business owners don't want to hear negatives. And that's unfortunate, because you need to hear the negatives. And it's not a finger pointing exercise, it's a training exercise. If we're doing something wrong, the owner should know about it and want to fix it, regardless of who's to blame or what the issue is.
That's right. All professional athletes will tell you when they're training, as we're talking about training employees, they don't train with someone that's not, they want to train with someone that's equal to or better than them. So they, or makes them play harder. Fighters will, train with bigger guys, in a different weight class, just to try and enhance their training. So training is a key to success once the customer enters the realm of your store. And it's an interesting aspect, especially when you go online nowadays with major companies, and oh my God, the computer systems, answering systems, or protocols they do or don't have with people in other countries. It can drive you crazy, right? If you could switch companies, like for credit cards or other things, you probably would, right? But having said that, when it comes to phone service or TV or streaming now on, for entertainment on the web, or back to a brick and mortar store, it's all comes down to phone sense is a good training quality thing, as well as door sense, I guess you would call it, when someone enters your store. So I don't seem to have Tom here. He may have gotten frozen out. So hoping I'll continue to discuss what we're talking about and move through our ideas about what we wanted to make a point about. So if you learn about customers' needs from the inside out, as we're saying, or as an example, it's a great aspect of being able to build your business. Asking customers during your conversation, if they have any complaints or they have any suggestions of how you can improve. Was there something that they didn't like about the product selection, or is there some product that they suggest that we might add to our store? And you want to try and figure out how you maintain their loyalty. The worst situation you obviously can have is where customers move to a different competitor, and so having a friendly environment always helps. And the other aspect of this is, how did you find out about us? Were you referred to us? Was it advertising, or were you just coming by and happened to see our storefront? All these things continue to help. And like in the political process, exit polls that they try to use during every election, can in a sense be business exit polls that you can utilize to help track your customers and what they are happy about and what their needs are. So in the realm of wanting to make sure that that works, that's where you want to go. So um, the bottom line to all this is have a great day, and we'll hopefully hear from Tom before we go. But if not, what we will do is tell you about um, being on YouTube and the access you have. You can go to our website, kmmsam.com, for our Saturday show, and you can get the downloads for all of our shows there. And you can also go to, as I said, YouTube to get all of our downloads as well. So Saturday, if you want to listen to our show, it's a great 3-hour show, and we cover a lot more other topics besides business. And we would like you to come in and participate. You can phone in or you can text in and ask questions on Saturday. So with that, I'll say have a great day, and we will speak with you and see you next Tuesday. And we're looking forward to that, as we do every Tuesday and Thursday at this time. Have a great day, and thank you for seeing us here on StreamYard.
Okay, I guess we're done.